Under layers of snow and ice, Oak Island is committed to keeping its secrets buried during the winter. The representative of Kellyo, another treasure hunter, is Dave Spencer. In order to get more accurate data than they did, Gary Drayton and the father and son team, Bob and Robert Leonard, are traveling to the frozen marsh. The team used the DeepMax X6, a sophisticated metal detector with a larger frame coil and mounted on a sled, last summer with the goal of finding metal objects up to 40 feet underground. The data gathered can be examined in a three-dimensional map, which may show the location of potentially valuable items. Lagena. They were hoping to get large numbers in the swamp near the northern end of the swamp, on land owned by Fred Nolan's family, and the team's commander is persistent and has succeeded in doing so. Lagena recently discovered a sizable wooden stake that was carbon dated to the 1500s and was thought to be proof of survey markers that were used to lay out the limits of a big construction project centuries ago. Fred came to the conclusion that Oak Island was originally two islands that had been intentionally connected by the triangle-shaped marsh. Dan and Fred hauled one up together, chopped off the tip, and sent it to be carbon dated. The team is thrilled with the findings but is careful not to become overly thrilled. They intend to return and run the detector once more. It may also reveal who made the Eye of the Swamp as a covert calling card. Although there is still more work to be done, the team admits that discovering other vaults in the marsh or on Lot 5 could be evidence. These vaults could contain a small portion of the treasure. Specialist in metal detection Gary Drayton and Alex Lagina, his nephew, are looking for a further hints to unravel the enigma of Oak Island. The team has recently recovered metal ship spikes in the area that predate the discovery of the Money Pit in 1795, as well as a 14th century lead cross, which may be connected to the Christian military order of the Knights Templar. The team is excited about the potential of the artifacts trapped under the giant rock in Smith's Cove. They need to dig quickly, because the rocks keep filling back in, making it difficult to find them. They decide to bring more shovels and expand the hole to dig out the artifacts at the depth of the hole. They discover a large, heavily encrusted metal object beneath the shoreline of Smith's Cove. The object is believed to be a big iron conglomerate coming off a wreck. Archaeologist Lar Niban and archaeometallurgist Emma Culligan have been analyzing the large iron object and have successfully removed corroded materials from its surface. The object is found to be a cast iron stove door, with the starburst design similar to the button found in 2023 in the stone feature on Lot 5. Gary wonders if these items are connected because the stove door's starburst shape might have been a common stove design in the past. According to Emma, cast iron stoves can be traced back to the middle of the 18th century, but their manganese content places them closer to the middle of the 19th century. To come closer to unraveling the mystery of Oak Island, the team must learn the stove's design. They are enthusiastic about the relic's potential. The Oak Island team is committed to working with archaeologists to solve the riddle of the enigmatic objects, despite the difficulties they encounter when excavating further into the hole. Lar Niban and Emma Culligan want to figure out how the stove door was made and how it relates to the medieval button discovered in 20123. The plot centers on a group of researchers at Smith's Cove who are looking for the fabled flood tunnel, thought to have fed seawater into the original Money Pit. The team is led by Craig Tester and Rick Lagena, and they are in the area where the restalls placed wooden forms down the hole, but their forms blew out and they lost the hole. They are discovering metal and wood detectors that they think may be evidence of the shaft's construction, as well as a modern nail that they think is the restall shaft. This modern nail may provide a crucial hint that the team is getting close to discovering the wooden frame or forms constructed by the Restall family in 1961 when they poured concrete into the vertical shaft. As they continue their excavation in Smith's Cove, they discover remnants of the Restall's operations, like a broken spike and a rounded beveled point. If they are able to confirm the location of the vertical shaft, they should be able to locate the flood tunnel itself, which is a direct connection to the treasure. The next 5 to 10 feet will provide more details regarding the location of the Money Pit in Smith's Cove. The team is committed to digging and finding clues to the Money Pit location. Was reached by episodes like Eureka Payday and King Knopf Klondike, going on right next to a pond, and water would be the first thing that would go wrong if something went wrong. Frozen mud was the best option because it kept the water out. Recruit John Baudry was told to deal with the mud and keep the water out, but it looked like the cut was pretty wet, so they had to call their boss. If not, things will go badly if they do. It turned out that the mud got worse and spread faster as they opened up more areas. They still hadn't even cut out a fifth of the area. The wolf cut is next to a pond that is pretty old. There was only a small berm between them, not strong enough to stand up to the water pressure if it was messed with. They dug down and found frozen ice that stopped the water from getting in. The permafrost was broken, which now lets pond water seep through the wall and flood the cut. The area will soon have a lot of water if they let it keep going. There was a need for action to save the day. They thought getting a pump would be the best thing for them to do. To fight the water, Parker planned to dig a sunk pond in the cut that was as deep as it could go and put in an 8-inch pump to drain it. He was not going to lose another water fight. After setting it up, they had to wait until the next day. Their plan as a whole was good and seemed like it would work, but how do they choose a pump to drain water that big from a pond without first making sure it works and fixing any problems it might have? The next day, everyone on the team walked outside to see their perfectly dry and ready-to-med wolf cut, but they were about to get a bad surprise. They couldn't find their pump anywhere. It looked like the pump was gone, and instead of a cutting that was completely dry, they found a lake. The pump had terrible problems filling the cut and putting the pump 4 feet below the water. $500,000 were about to slip through their hands. The pump was so deep that they couldn't even walk up to it. Tyson had to pull a small kayak out with a chain in the excavator to get the pump to dry ground where they could work on it. Mark Force, the foreman, said that the debris was blocking the suction filter at the end of the hose, which caused the water level to rise and cover the whole pump. To make sure that more flooding wouldn't hurt the pump, he had to take the engine apart and repair it. Parker has shown that he is not easily upset by losses. In fact, he's had a lot of them. In spite of everything, he did something that shocked both miners and fans, putting an end to a season with $14 million in gold. Parker Schnabel and his team were starting a season that might change everything about gold mine. When it was really cold outside, the risks went up because every shovelful of dirt could make or break their dream. As soon as the season began, there was a sense of urgency, and Parker worked around the clock to coordinate his team's attempts to find the valuable material. The difficult conditions in Alaska were not taken lightly. They put their mental health to the test. They were determined to find their prize, even though the terrain was dangerous and some of the tools they were using didn't work right. Parker had to carefully plan every move because he was in charge of this determined group. His leadership skills had been honed over the years through failures and successes. Expectations were high, but he didn't let that stop him from leading his team through the dangerous terrain. He was motivated by the belief that the Klondike held the key to a life-changing fortune that, when found, would make all of their problems seem small. They finally made progress after a long time when they found a rich seam that went on and on below the frozen ground. It was already a financial puzzle, was done with the worry of possible bills and the costs of running the business. As I watch them, I can't help but wonder, will this smart move help them find the gold mines they were looking for? Or will it be a big mistake on the crazy road of gold mining? At some point in this nail-biting story, you couldn't help but wonder, would Parker Schnabel's huge risk pay off? Or would his growing financial responsibilities and practical problems make it impossible for him to reach his goal of finding a gold mine? Dominion is a world where gold rules and fortunes can change in an instant. Parker Schnabel found himself in a very bad spot. Now is the time for the dream of the unreachable gold to change. Along with it came hard times financially, so the business could stay open. Played a role in the area. Lagena Marty believes that the Norse may have contributed to the happenings at Lonzo Meadows because a Viking-era blacksmith has been working there for 25 seasons. Lagina and her group have recovered an artifact from 1965 that was discovered during an excavation in Nova Scotia and bore resemblance to the Viking era. The team is also investigating the possibility of using bog iron, a naturally forming iron deposit found in swamps or rivers, to make the iron arrowhead. Bog iron is a material commonly used by Vikings and their descendants, and Emma Culligan, who has conducted X-ray fluorescent spectrometer scans on the arrowhead, believes that these levels indicate pre-1700s. This could support the other dates from their other findings on the island in a medieval context and help prove that the artifact is of Scandinavian origin. The team is eager to gather data on bog iron and compare Oak Island artifacts to potential bog iron. The journey to Lonzo Meadows has grown more complicated, and they are eager to get back to the island to investigate the relationship between the Templars and Vikings in more detail. A collapsed tunnel and traces of a strange 9-T-high tunnel are among the important finds unearthed in the Money Pit area, and additionally, they are investigating remnants of the stone foundation on Lot 5, which might have served as a campground while the Money Pit was being built. 11 feet southwest of where they came across the enigmatic 90-high tunnel a week ago, the crew is engaged in a core drilling operation in the Money Pit location. Additionally, the crew is keeping an eye on the core drilling activity in borehole 8.755.6 of Morale, which is only 11 feet southwest of the location where they came into an enigmatic 9-tall tunnel a week ago. The group is keeping an eye on the wood fragments down to 109 feet and wants to know if they have struck the... The crew is also monitoring the sonic drilling activity occurring in the area, which is located just 11 feet southwest of the site where they entered an unidentified 9-ton high tunnel 1 week ago. The crew is also monitoring the area for valuable metals that have been discovered there. The possibility of finding the S of the precious metals found in the area is another possibility that the team is looking at. At the moment, the team is working on a potentially important moment. Whether or not this tunnel is related to the original Money Pit and the fable wealth that has been sought after for more than 2 centuries is a crucial subject that must be addressed. After finding an unidentified tunnel in borehole 8.755.6 that is almost 110 feet deep, the team is excited to carry on their quest in the vicinity of the Money Pit. The team is working on a project to find answers in Smith's Cove, where they have not found the cement from the 1960s when the rests were there. They believe that the projected lines in the Money Pit are accurate and can be projected back to the site. They have been drilling and exploring the deeper wood in the general area as they have received new information. They have also been discovering small artifacts and spoils on Lot 4, such as a lead ball and a silver artifact. The lead ball is more interesting because it appears to have been used for something else, while the silver relic is more recent due to its high aluminum content. It is probable that soldiers who were digging in trenches and carved items out of musket balls manufactured the distinctively pitted lead ball. Because of the scientific evidence that a piece of lead shot found in the large stone foundation on Lot the 5th of May have been made as early as the 1600s, according to allergist Emma Colligan. A potentially revolutionary finding has been made at the Oakland laboratory. 2 examples of old antiquities collected from the area are the starburst button and the scallop disc, both of which originated before the 18th century. 2 examples of vintage relics collected from the area are the starburst button.
Determination and a heart full of dreams has once again pushed the boundaries of what's possible in the world of gold mining. Step into a world where dreams are as precious as the metal they seek, and where the stakes have never been higher. This is a season that will leave you breathless and in awe of the incredible journey that is Parker's record-breaking $14 million gold rush. Brennan assumes leadership and is immediately put under pressure to locate the treasure. They continue their mining operations despite the tensions and disappointments that they are experiencing. Parker, having realized the significance of adhering to the fundamentals, apologizes to Brennan and reiterates that their primary objective is to earn sufficient funds to purchase new land for the following season. A stunning 7,504.9 ounces of gold with a value of close to $14 million are mined by Parker's workers at the conclusion of the season, shattering their previous record for the amount of gold extracted. Celebration and happiness follow the success of the endeavor. Parker is extremely ecstatic about the recent decline in the price of petrol, as well as the rise in the price of gold. This comes at a time when he is getting ready to buy a piece of land in Alaska. Earning money is essential for him in order to save up for the next purchase he intends to make. He takes a risk by operating his most advanced washing plant on the most mineral-rich ground they have ever mined. But the large amount of water offers a risk that the plant would collapse into the pond if it is not handled properly. He takes a risk by operating his most advanced washing plant on the most mineral-rich ground they have ever mined. He was successful in finding a solution to the Brennan throughout this season would make things more complicated than usual. But despite this, they are determined to make it work nevertheless. However, the first pans of muck that they dig out from Muck Mountain only bring up a few flakes of gold here and there. This is a really disappointing turn of events. In spite of this setback, Parker makes the decision to proceed, putting his faith in the results of the drilling and thinking that the material will yield better results after it is processed through the wash facility. He does this because he is confident that the results will improve. The fact that Parker Schnabel is rapidly exhausting his supplies gives him with the challenge of scouting out new mining terrain, which he must do in order to continue his mining operations. He organizes a meeting of his workers in order to discuss the approach that will be employed for the forthcoming season, which will require mining a new part of ground that is 60 feet deep. In the meeting, they discuss the strategy that will be used. They believe that there could be 8,000 ounces of gold at the bottom, but they are aware that it will be a difficult endeavor that requires a different method than what they have used in the past. Despite this, they continue